The countdown to extinction is on over at Disney's Animal Kingdom as the closing date for DinoLand U.S.A. was just announced, as well as a current look at construction on the new Tropical Americas area and what we can look forward to when that land opens in 2027. So if you aren't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe right now, as I'll be covering the entire development of this land, including this video, so please subscribe if you haven't already. You don't want to miss all of my coverage. With that being said, let's get to it. Back in 2022, we got our first confirmation that Disney was looking to reimagine DinoLand U.S.A. at Disney's Animal Kingdom. And at the time, the plan included Moana and Zootopia attractions in this area, but fast forward to late 2023, once Bruce Vaughn returned as the president and chief creative of Walt Disney Imagineering, and we got the plan we have now. The Tropical Americas, featuring a carousel and major attractions around Encanto and Indiana Jones. And since we got that official confirmation, we've really just been waiting on that closing date for Dinosaur and the rest of DinoLand USA, and now we know when this area will be going extinct. The Boneyard Play Area just had its final day of operation on September 1st and is now permanently closed. That was the play area in DinoLand that had been here since opening day of Animal Kingdom, over 27 years. And with that closure, as work begins on this next phase of construction for the Tropical Americas, we have seen a massive change to the walkways and guest flow of Animal Kingdom, which is something that I wasn't necessarily expecting. This is a lot more than I was expecting, which honestly I think is a great sign because it shows that Disney is going to get to even more serious work here, in addition to the Encanto attraction, which we will be talking about later. But starting off with the closure of the Boneyard, the main entrance to DinoLand, where you would walk under the giant dinosaur skeleton, that is permanently blocked off. So if you want to ride Dinosaur before it permanently closes, and I will be talking about the Dinosaur closing date coming up, just give me 1 minute, we'll be talking about that. If you want to ride Dinosaur, you have to go all the way around and go down that single pathway that is now full of construction walls to get to Dinosaur. That's the pathway that used to sit right outside of Dinorama with the giant Cementosaurus dinosaur that we all loved. That is now a giant path for the remaining months of DinoLand's operations. And if you're wondering what is replacing the Boneyard, we are going to see an all-new carousel here in the Tropical Americas land with animals from Disney stories that was created by a woodcarver, a resident living in this village named Pueblo Esperanza. The entrance of the land doesn't have restrooms at this carousel, additional seating for the new hacienda replacing Restaurantosaurus, and that's going to be the new entrance before you go to experience all of these major attractions. And with the closure of the Boneyard, Disney has decided to announce when DinoLand as a whole will be closing. This is phase 3, and this is the final phase before work begins on the entire Tropical Americas land. And we now know that Dinosaur, the Dino Institute gift shop, Restaurantosaurus, and the Restaurantosaurus Lounge, the final day to experience all of those areas and the remaining areas open in DinoLand is February 1st, 2026. So if you're walking into Animal Kingdom on February 2nd, everything will be closed by then, walls will be up, and you will no longer be able to go into DinoLand. So I want to be very clear, February 1st, 2026, final day. Now that we know when all of this stuff's going to be closing, I think it's a perfect reminder to talk about what is coming and will be opening in 2027 as a part of this new land. Back in January, we saw the permanent closure of Chester and Hester's Dinorama, as this is the most amount of work that has to be done. The major e-ticket Encanto attraction is being built from the ground up, the entire show building, the casita, the entrance, the queue line, so Disney wanted to get to work as quickly as possible on that area, and just the fact that Dinorama was the least visited section of DinoLand, so it was very easy to close that, and since then, we have seen a ton of work from the demolition of Dinorama to a ton of groundwork in preparation for this Encanto ride to go vertical. And at the time of me posting this video, the Encanto ride has not gone vertical yet, but that should be imminent, as the retaining wall that used to sit behind Primeval Whirl has finally been demolished, which makes the entire site flat. And when you see Imagineering and all these crews preparing a site and it's flat, that's usually a good indicator that vertical construction and major construction is about to begin. This is the first ever Encanto attraction to be built at a Disney park, and the storyline follows that we are visiting the casita on the day that Antonio gets his magical gift. And there are some details here that no one's been talking about. Most recently, we got an inside look as Imagineers have already concluded their research trips for this land, visiting these authentic regions of the world to get inspiration for the tropical Americas, as well as the fact that they shared a rare look at these cameras and models that they use to get a POV of what the guest is going to see before these lands even open. And these models really allow them to say, yes, that's what these guests are going to see. That looks right. Let's lock in the plane and then build it. And it really does look good in my opinion. I love how the casita is set up on the hill, which really is going to give it some fantastic scale as we walk up to it. Just like in the movie, the casita is going to feel alive. So as we are walking up to it, approaching it, the magical candle is going to be flickering. The shingles on the house are going to be moving. The door at the entrance of the house, while we're not walking through it, it's going to be opening and closing. And then to the left, that's where you have the entrance to the queue line. And also, no one's talking about how last November at D23 in Brazil, we got even more confirmation that the grand finale scene is going to be where we finally arrive to Antonio's room, and that is the connection to animals within Animal Kingdom, as Antonio's magical gift is communication with animals. So this is where we will see Antonio, the rest of the Madrigal family, and all of the animals celebrating Antonio's gift before we disembark and head back into the land. But as far as I know, this attraction is going to feel very classic Disney. I think the best way that I can describe this ride from what I know right now is if you were to take a Fantasyland attraction with that classic storytelling, blend it with the current technology that we have with the incredible audio animatronics, projection mapping, and visual effects, with music, as well as a large number of show scenes with this classic story that people love very quickly, since Encanto is more of a recent movie, and that's what you're going to get here. So me personally, I am very excited about this attraction, but as of now, we have to wait for more details on that one. Now I want to talk about the other major attraction, Indiana Jones replacing Dinosaur. Once Dinosaur closes at the end of the day on February 1st, 2026, Imagineers are going to get to work on transforming this attraction from dinosaurs to an ancient Mayan temple with an original storyline for Indiana Jones. And that's something I think is very important to mention, is I've seen a lot of confusion still on if this is going to be a clone of Indiana Jones at Disneyland or Tokyo Disneyland, but Animal Kingdom is getting an 100% original story, where Indiana Jones recently found out about some rumors about a mythological creature inside of this perfectly preserved Mayan temple, and Indy, being Indy, wants to explore it. We are joining him for this adventure. And as of now, we have some beautiful concept art for the exterior of this Mayan temple, as well as that one interior scene, which looks like it's going to come to life with an Indiana Jones audio animatronic and some incredible visual effects. But as of now, we don't know exactly what this mythological creature is, what it's going to look like, how it's going to be brought to life. But personally, I really love the originality route here, because Bruce Vaughan, the president and chief creative of Imagineering, like I mentioned earlier, the first project he ever worked on at Walt Disney Imagineering was Indiana Jones out of Disneyland. So when the main leader of Imagineering has a deep connection to an attraction like this, I think it's going to get a little bit of extra love. And just the fact that Joe Rohde is consulting on this ride in the Tropical Americas as a whole. So very encouraging signs, and that again will be opening in 2027 alongside the rest of the land. When it comes to the rest of the land, what I really love is that it's an original story for this village. Pueblo Esperanza, the official name for the land, it translates to the Village of Hope. So very optimistic on the beauty of the Animal Kingdom, and I think it's really going to fit in perfectly and make this park feel more whole and connected, as it's a region of the world just like we see with Africa and everything else in Animal Kingdom. But at the center of this village, you're going to have a large fountain where original characters, residents of this land, are going to appear and tell stories about this village. And then Restaurantosaurus will be transformed into a large hacienda, keeping that it's one of the largest restaurants at Walt Disney World, but it will remain quick service with authentic food from this region of the world. Also, like I mentioned earlier, we have that carousel. A wood carver, another resident in this land, is creating this carousel with some classic animals from Disney stories. And then the boneyard, and now that that's closed, a lot of the parents are probably thinking, well, are we getting another play area? And yes, we are getting another play area, a themed play area for kids. As of now, I expect that to be right outside of the entrance of the new Indiana Jones attraction, and it might even be themed to Indiana Jones with the adventure side of Indiana Jones, as it makes sense for kids to want to adventure in this area and play around, which makes sense. So let me know what you guys think about the Tropical Americas. Very excited for this one, if you guys can't tell from how enthusiastic I am as I've been talking throughout this video. But again, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. This lane's gonna be awesome. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in my next one.